This video is going to be a little dim because I snuck out and did this as soon as I thought there was enough light for the cameras to work. It wasn't a smart thing to do, but I had this 3S Fiesta that I wanted to see how it did on the dirt track. And as you can see, it was a handful. I haven't seen this much dust in the air since a midsummer late model feature at the Hales Corner Speedway back home in Wisconsin. I kind of thought that dust would be a problem, which is another reason I did this at like 6 o'clock in the morning. Keep in mind that the Fiesta is pretty much box stock. All I've done is move the bottom of the shocks in one hole all the way around. That's it. I meant to tweak the car some before I put it out here on 3S, but I had a car, I had a dirt track, and I lost control of myself. I promise once I get this out of my system, we'll start tweaking the car. It became pretty obvious in the first few laps that on 3S, this thing was carrying a lot more speed at the end of the little straightaways. I needed to start working on some new marks for turning in and getting off the gas. I tried tapping the brakes on entry, giving the car a second, and then rolling back in the gas to get it off the turn, and that worked pretty well. When I was stationed in Georgia, a guy was teaching me to drive dirt cars there, and he liked just pitching them backwards and standing on the gas to dig out of the corner. That's probably not the fastest way around the track, but it sure is a lot of fun, and this car does it too. And the pitch it in backwards idea looks even cooler when you can see the rooster tail from the side. I was a little surprised that a four-wheel drive car like this can still broadslide with all four tires digging. My little track seems fastest when you run around the outside. But even up there with the 3S power, you had to be gentle on the trigger to get this thing going in the right direction. And occasionally you have to wait for it to land too. But it does stay pretty much under control. I was pleasantly surprised at how well the Fiesta suspension works when you just sling the thing into the corner and let it bounce around a little bit. Of course, when you're watching that and the back end starts coming around, all that's left is to gas it and see what happens, and it does pull itself out. I also found that with 3S power, you can just flat carry too much speed into the corner and the car goes straight, sideways or not. No matter what, you gotta be smarter than the car. Of course, we're not racing for anything here, so sometimes it's fun to just go up on top and just gas this thing around the corner and throw a bunch of dirt around. Notice the chassis stay nice and flat while I'm trying to upset it. This is what I call turns 3 and 4 on my track. I'm beginning to find where I need to turn the Fiesta in to broadslide around the corner and keep a decent arc all the way around. I can almost hear neighbors coughing in the background. Here I tried tapping a little more brake to try and run around the bottom of the turn. Here I finally let it rotate the right amount and gave it a smart amount of gas coming out, and it drifted around on a very nice line. Then I gave it too much gas too early and hung the back end out a little while. Now that I got this out of my system for the time being, I can start working on this car. I for sure need to put a smaller pinion in here and get a little more control of this motor. And I need to do things like check the alignment of the front wheels and camber all the way around. Along the way, I'm going to try some different shock oil and maybe some different springs too. And as we make all those changes, we got to get a bunch of laps out here to see what's working for us or what's working against us. I have found one thing that I don't like about this car, but I really don't think there's a solution to it. With the wheels inside the body, this thing gets filthy. I always dump all this stuff out after each battery pack, but it fills right up again. This may be one of the reasons they make everything waterproof so we can just hose this thing out, because it does look a lot better if we do that.